Hey, everybody. Welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott.
Welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott.
Join us every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Special thank you to our sponsors of The Experience, live with Russ and Scott. Jim Coleman, State Farm Insurance, 541-753-2500. Call him for all your insurance needs. And for more information on Christine Smith and Aging Better Network, go to agingbetternetwork.com. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to The Experience live backstage with, or actually, this isn't backstage. We just came from backstage.
We came from backstage. That's right. I was going to say, good morning, Mr. Hedge.
Hello, I'm waking up. I've been up so long, you would think that I would know what time it is and what show we're on. But, sometimes they all roll together, Scott.
Yeah. Well, you're recovering from eye surgery from last week. And how's that going?
It's good. I have to roll back and forth between my glasses and no glasses, little glare, no glare, because I can't get my contacts in yet. But so far, so good. I mean, sight is much better. I was dealing with some double vision over my cancer journey this last year and a half. It's played havoc with my body. And so my family is really done. And so am I with the surgeries. I'm really hoping they're over. Seems like every season I'm rolling into another surgery. And so, yes, I'm just thankful to God for the goodness of the healing, my cancer being gone, helping me learn to deal with the things that I've got to deal with and taking care of these eyes. Big deal, because I can see so much better already. And I know it's going to just improve. So
that's great.
That's a plus. Yeah.
And you were out driving. It was a beautiful day here in Western Oregon, by the way, for you to be out driving yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday, Scott, I was at our alma mater. I was at Oregon State for a meeting, walked across the campus, and oh my goodness, beautiful day. Walked right past Benton Hall, the music building where I spent a ton of my time, starting as a music major in college. That's where I spent a ton of my time. But it was just a blessed day and a nice, it's always nice to go back and take a look. Although the kids, I'm looking at the college students now, young adults, and I'm thinking they're like 12 years younger than my children. So I mean, it's like, oh my goodness, I'm getting old every day. Yeah. I know. So Scott, what do you got going on this week?
Well, speaking of time, I'm continuing to work. Probably be another 2 months, but my next book will be coming out. Reluctant Time Traveler: Why We Are Notoriously Dissatisfied. And so that's a fun project. Of course, the Independent Planner is out, and it's in hardback. And you have to be patient because it is print on demand. So the hardback takes a little bit of time, but it's designed to be written in. It is a planner and journal pages designed specifically for entrepreneurs to track your goals. Independent-planner.com. And but it's available in hardback and paperback. And the paper back I set, by the way, at basically cost. So it's an inexpensive way to go. And I just say, if you're an entrepreneur, that's what it's designed for, and it's designed to supplement your digital calendar. And anyway, happy to get that one out. And that's plenty of stuff going on. What about you?
Well, first of all, someday I will catch up with Scott. No, probably never on the books, but I never really thought, Scott, as busy as you have been and as much as you've done, I really never thought that I would write more than the one book. I didn't even think I'd write the one book, but my good friend D. Scott Smith nudged me. My beautiful wife encouraged me, and I wrote Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose. And then in the last 3 months, I've written 3 collaborative books, 2 international bestsellers, which has been just a phenomenal journey. And I've met some incredible people. I've got some really good, close connections out of this whole experience. So it's been a blessing, and I'm really excited for next year, because next year I've been asked to do a couple more collaborative things, but I've kind of held them off because I told them I really want to get my book out.
Right. Your next one, the follow-up.
Yeah, which will be Life Happens and Then You Choose. Excited for that. So yeah, I may slip a collaborative effort in there here or there if I'm asked to do it, because they're usually pretty easy to do. But yeah, been a lot of fun. And
collaborative, that's this one, Freeze in Action in the Face of Business Crisis, how to react when the unexpected happens. And they did that one joint with Veronica. But I'll just encourage people, doing just digital books, doing an ebook is a great way to start. And you can do those small 20, 40, 60 pages, and then write a follow-up to it. And then you can combine them. And that's what I did with this one, Business Networking, a Scientific Method. That picture, by the way, is the Portland Grill. I was up for a meeting, and I love that. So I took that with my phone. So I'm just saying, this is how hard it is to do it. I did the whole cover. I took the picture, and if I can do it, you can do it. If you can drive a car, you can publish a book.
Well, and that's it. It's been interesting. So here is Rattled Awake, which was my first collaborative effort. And I love these because they come out on ebook first. And here's all the authors on the back. And there I am in the group of authors, amazing group of people. And then the latest one that just came out was a note to my family. I'm really excited about that. It's I Am Your Legacy, and it's giving information about yourself and what you want your family in the future to know about you. I really love that as well. My grandkids will be able to read that, and their grandkids. But the whole thing that Scott says, I just want to encourage everybody. When you feel like you can't do it, this is a great way to start, because you get around people who know what they're doing. Yeah. And then they take care of the hard part, and you just write a chapter. So think about that. But I digress. And I got to say, Scott, love being here. We have 2 amazing guests today.
I'm excited because, we're coming to the end of the year. We're into the holiday season already. And we've talked in the past about routines and habits and rituals and how important they are in our lives, and how out of balance, out of whack we feel when we get disrupted from those routines, from being able to express our habits, the good habits, right? And so we've got some good coaches coming in today to get us straight, get us ready for 2024.
Exactly. And I'm excited. I've had a few great conversations with Shawn and Julianne. And in fact, they were on one of my other shows. In fact, they might have been on 2 of my other shows. Anyway, they are amazing people. So let's get them in and get this thing started. Ready?
Let's go.
Here we are. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, you guys. So
how are the 2 of you?
Doing fabulous. Yeah. It's a wonderful day. Glad to be here and excited to be with you guys.
I love the picture behind you, by the way. When we were in the green room, I was just noticing that one.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about that picture.
That's Maroon Bells here in Colorado, actually. We found it when we were decorating the office here. We found that, and I was like, I think that one belongs here. And it's perfect. Yeah, I like it.
Beautiful.
Good choice for sure. And I want to tell the 2 of you that Denver is a beautiful place. I've been to Colorado, but I've actually never been to Denver.
What?
But I became a huge Nugget fan last year because, man, it was just so much fun watching them. And I've got a ton of friends from Denver, so I'm going to have to make a trip over there. Yeah. We can all have coffee, and it'll be great. But until then, let me back up and say, I know the 2 of you are doing some amazing things, and I want you to give everybody a snapshot. Who is Shawn and Julianne, and what are you up to?
Well, my name is Julianne Lechuga. I'm a health and wellness coach, but I also specialize in biofeedback and other holistic practices. I really work on energetic side of everything and try and heal up the body and get you feeling at your best, help you get back to your normal life and even better than that.
Guys, thanks for having us on. I really appreciate it, Russ and Scott. Thank you, guys. My name is Shawn Lechuga, and as well as Julianne, I'm an integrative health and wellness coach. And basically what that entails is diving into more than just food and nutrition, right? It's also your mental, your mindset, and things like that. And we coach on a level that's what we call primary nutrition first. And these are all things that every one of us deal with in our everyday lives, like creativity, your relationships, your volunteering, your spirituality, all those things. There's 13 different areas actually. And when we're off in those areas, it doesn't matter what we're eating or what we're doing. That's the primary problem there. And we address that first, and then we move on to your nutrition. But the thing that we enjoy doing with our clients is we don't like completely revamping and shredding apart people's pantries and refrigerators, because that's where people have a problem. And it's okay to enjoy life's pleasures and be healthy at the same time, and that's what we help you do.
Well, go ahead, Scott.
Speaking of books, I always thought I just wanted to write a diet book, because of course diet books make a lot of money. And but it's one of those things where I just want to have, it's kind of like a coffee table book, have a really nice picture like the one right behind you there, and then next to it some words that say things like a little bit of everything but not too much of anything. And then you turn the page, another beautiful picture, and it's like, it's a nice day, why don't you go outside and take a walk, right? I mean, all of these things that your grandmother told you, but we don't do them. And I think this is one of the reasons why we need coaches like Julianne and Shawn.
Yeah, we help you get back in touch with those things that we've always known. I mean, we disconnected and we lost that old nostalgia that was given to us by our great-grandparents, our grandparents, those things that were very beneficial, that we didn't realize the benefit of it. And now we are starting to realize it. It's coming back into play. All these things that we thought were outdated or old or didn't mean anything, they really do. They have so much meaning behind them. And they were all for good health, good life, good everything.
Because they said sitting is the new smoking.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Okay, that is quite a comment there. In fact, it's interesting because you just brought that up, coming out of a smoking environment. My parents both smoked. And really, as far as being health driven, I was really into sports, so I was really health driven, but my parents not so much. I had amazing, wonderful parents, but they weren't, the type that went and worked out and did things like that. Although my mom did diet every now and then, and I would watch her because she would go from having a few extra pounds to being really skinny, and then back to having a few extra pounds, and then being really skinny, and then back to having a few extra pounds. One thing that I learned, and I want the two of you to comment on this, and you brought this up too, you need to do something that works for you. You need to develop a plan and a strategy that you can sustain with your life, and eating good and not killing yourself is one great way to do it. And I have learned, you guys brought this up about your own pantry. I have learned you've got to have a chance to cheat every now and then. Right now, I become a type 1 diabetic, so I have to be really careful about my diet. But every now and then, my blood sugar is low enough, I grab a little piece of chocolate, a little piece of fudge, things for the holidays. It's okay every now and then. And what that does is it helps me then maintain my regular diet, because I know every now and then I can do that, right?
Absolutely. I mean, if you completely eliminate every bad thing for you, however you want to say it, you're fighting an uphill losing battle. It's just not it's not realistic. It's not going to work. And going back to your chocolate comment, actually, if you eat the right chocolate, it's actually good for you. So we can talk about that one later. But
in moderation.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's, we have the little chocolate squares or whatever. We have them every single night. You can get 1 or 2 of them, and every night we'll have those after dinner, and that's just a little bit, but it's just enough, and it tastes good, and it's actually good for you, that dark chocolate. So, but one thing I wanted to hit on, and I struggled with this in business, but a lot of people struggle with this in diet and weight loss and exercise. They focus too much on what everyone else is doing. Oh, I want to be like this person. Oh, I want to be like that person. Oh, I want to, what do you want? Right. I don't care what everyone else is doing, because what their plan is may not be the plan for you. And that's where we get caught up in that analysis paralysis of like, oh, and then there's all these things, then you end up doing nothing. And then you're discouraged, you're defeated, so that's the biggest thing here is like, we take you down to who you are and what's good for you, not what's good for person over here.
And it leads to better success for you, because if you're trying to do too much at once, you don't have the ability in most of us, because it's too much. And so really it's bringing it down to the basics and helping you build outward. And if you want to get to that goal of whatever your idol is, that's fine. We could work on that, but it's one step at a time. And sometimes it's baby steps, and that's okay, because every day you have an opportunity to start anew and be better than you were the day before.
Right. See, I love that. I love that, because, whoa, there we are. We're huge. Let's do that. Let's change that. There we go. Okay. So I think that people don't realize that how important baby steps are, because every little forward motion is moving you towards what you want, where you want to go. And what we do, I actually have a note here I wrote on my desk, and I'm really a positive, upbeat person, but I like to remind myself. So I have things, scripture all over, notes all over, to remind myself of positive things. And this note says, don't beat yourself up over what you haven't done. Celebrate what you have done. So instead of beating yourself up over not completely following everything you wanted to do for the day, you could say to yourself, hey, I did really good at maintaining this today, or I did really good at a step this direction today, because one good step leads to another. We don't have to see the whole staircase, right? We just have to see the next step, and that will move us in that positive direction. And I think that's where people just are so used to doing that, just beating themselves up, and then they beat themselves down to where they don't want to do anything, right?
Yeah,
that's correct.
Absolutely. And the other wonderful thing that you could do is really vision yourself being in that place too, where you want to be, because it helps you internally get to that goal as well. And what they found is that there's no difference between actually physically doing something and thinking it. So you could do it through your mind first, start doing that baby step, and then take those little ones towards maybe you stop eating those chips that are not good for you, or something like that. Or you start working out every day, or you start doing meditation, things like that. Those are all baby steps. And you could celebrate those wins when you start doing them. And you could do other things that are good for you, like not eating those chips, but maybe doing a spa day for yourself or something. And I only use chips. Obviously, not all chips are bad, but look at your ingredients. So that's the one side note I will say as I say this is look at your ingredients, because it's okay to splurge a little bit here and there, but make sure that it's on something that's not totally throwing off your body.
That's funny. I have a friend, he's a car guy, and he is adamant about what type of gasoline he puts in his car, right? He won't go to this station. He only goes to these stations because of that. But I guarantee you, he does not read the label on the food that he puts in his own body.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
It's so crazy to think, because it's like you are so particular about that, but the fuel that goes in your body is also what makes your cells talk. It's what makes your body energized, happy. All these emotions occur in the gut and in the body. So if you're not putting in the right fuel, it's going to affect you.
Yeah. And Julianne, we're going to be calling you doctor. in about 7 months. Tell us about that in your journey there.
Yeah. So talking about baby steps, I've been in school for 6 years. I had to stop and restart the program, but I was so determined to get to my end goal of being a doctor. And I wanted to bring the doctor of natural medicine alive and bring back holistic practices and the ancient medicines that have been out there. And so for me, that was a really high goal, to be able to get to that end result. And although it was a really hard journey for me, it was well worth it. And I'm coming to the end. And so I'm super excited. But yeah, I have 4 girls and I've been going to school while I had all of them. And it was talk about using baby steps, because sometimes it was hard to find the motivation to get up and do the homework, or it was hard to stay up later than everybody else and do what I needed to finish it.
And can I ask you something, if you want to? How many times during those 6 years were you like, okay, I'm just done. I can't do this anymore. Like, and then you kept pushing through.
So many times I wanted to just give up. And I was like, it's so hard. It's so hard to find the time. It's so hard to find the energy some days. But I was like, know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. It's I want to do this because it's something that I've always wanted to be. Since I was a little girl, I said I wanted to be a doctor. I didn't realize what capacity that was in, but I found it.
Well, congratulations. And this is one of those things that we talk about, the valley of despair, right? And this is when you start something and you're very excited about it, and then you get into the midst of it and you look back and you think, now, why did I think this was a good idea? Yeah. I was kind of happy back here, but you continue to push through, and it's better at the end. And it's the same thing with your health journey.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Once you get those wheels going and you start doing it, it is so wonderful because you get to look at those stages if you're monitoring it. And I invite people to monitor where they're at. Take pictures of yourself. See, I don't use the scale, but measure yourself. You'd be amazed, because sometimes people are like, well, I didn't lose a lot of weight, but I've had to go down a pant size or a bra size or, whatever. And it's like, those are still weight loss. You probably were working out, and that's what, you've gained muscle and replaced that, but you still lost parts, like a little bit of fat here and there, and it's turned into muscle. So that is a wonderful thing. And you got to chart that, because sometimes we don't realize what we're doing. And so those moments where you chart it, you can look back and see all these wonderful things and your progression. And that's a reward.
Right. I think that doing things like that encourage you, and that's part of that, is completing tasks. Even if you could do all the things you're doing without becoming a doctor, that was a goal and a dream, and it's something you want to go after. And by doing that, it encourages you to do more and be more. And I totally congratulate you. I went back to Scott and I graduated from Oregon State University in 1987 together in the same ceremony. Didn't know each other at the time, but we both graduated with our bachelor's. Well, I graduated with my bachelor's. Was that yours, Scott, too?
Yep.
Your bachelor's?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Bachelor's in business back then.
There you go. And so, but later in life, at 50, I went back to school to get my ministry license. My kids were grown up and gone, but I still worked full time and had a life. And that was hard enough to maintain just taking those college classes and the certification requirements and all the things that I needed to do. And I look back on that, though, and I felt so accomplished when I have on my wall the certificate of ministry that I accomplished that. It gave me, more enthusiasm and encouragement to do more. And so I want to encourage everybody, because there was times when I did it that I was like, yeah, I'm giving up here, and I was really particular because young, I didn't get the greatest grades, but I did fine. But I got straight A's on everything except for one class. I was getting discouraged, not on the class, but just because of life getting away from me. I was taking ethics. Funny. At the time I was teaching ethics too. And I finally decided I just got to take this test and move on. It's the only class I got a B in because I just took it. But
by the way, he's a marketing coach. So.
Yeah, right. But I took it just to complete it. And so my whole point on that is what you just said, is that I did that to to complete it and get the process done so I could have that encouragement and completion that I had done what I had set out to do. So, okay, the two of you now, because I'm glancing at the time, I'm talking too much. Tell us a little bit more about your business, not just eating. What else are you encouraging people to do with your holistic approach to health?
Sure. I mean, like I wanted to talk a little bit about your emotional side of things and how a lot of us hang on to so many negative emotions, and it could stem all the way back to childhood. It could be a divorce that happened 10, 15, 20 years ago, and you're hanging on to all those emotions, and we help you express those. And one of the best ways to do that is by journaling your emotions and talking about them. And we also encourage writing forgiveness letters. And these are letters that could be written to anybody. It could be to yourself. It could be to your spouse. It could be to your children. It could be to a friend that burned you in the past. And these letters, you don't give them to them. You don't send them off. These are things that you write down, and you actually forgive them for what happened. You thank them for what happened and the lessons that you learned from it. And then you destroy it. You destroy the letter. And it's amazing. We've had a lot of patients here in the office that we've done that with that have had excellent results. It's like a monkey off the back, like, I mean, just, things that have been grinding their gears for years and years that you cannot get rid of. And then you put it all on paper and it's just like, oh, I can breathe now.
Right.
And that is, a lot of times where we start with people.
I think I'm going to jump in there and say, I think it's an excellent suggestion because I journal a lot, and years ago I didn't. And I have found two things. First of all, as you can tell, I'm a verbal processor. So I process. My poor, beautiful wife, at times I'm processing and she goes, "Are you talking to me?" I said, "Well, kind of, but I'm really just talking to myself and processing, trying to figure out where I'm going." Right. But I do that with writing too. It's very good for me to write things out and process and then really get things out of me, because you don't always have people to talk to, during the day when you really need to get things out. So I think that's an excellent process. Scott, I know you had something to say. Go ahead.
I just I love this whole idea. We did an exercise similar to this. I was at a retreat earlier this year, and the exercise was to do two things. One of them, it was 30 minutes each. Sit down and write a letter from your father to you of everything that you wish your father had said to you.
Wow.
Whether he's living or dead, but just write all that down. And then take another 30 minutes and write a letter to your father saying everything that you wish you could tell them. Tell your father, again, living or dead. And then the same thing, right? This is for you as an exercise. One of the most powerful things that I have done in a long time. So I love that you guys are doing this with your clients.
Yeah, it's so important. And the one thing that I want to hit on that Shawn did talk about, but really emphasize, is forgiving yourself. Many times the things we hold on to is things that we're punishing ourselves for, and we don't even realize it. Like we're, it's like that whole saying, like, if you're trying to poison somebody else, but you're really drinking the poison yourself, we do that. And truly that is something we hold on to. So even though that person is still holding into your mind and really weighing on you, at the end of the day, it's still it's you that you haven't forgiven. It's the poison that you're taking instead of letting it go, because really that person may not even know you exist anymore or care what you're doing. And at the end of the day, you're trying to spite them, but really it's fighting you. It's really hurting you. And remember, your mind doesn't know the difference between action and thinking. So you're really creating toxins in yourself there.
Right. And as you think, so you are. And there's so many, Think and Grow Rich books that all talk about thinking and what you're doing. And I have read some amazing books on that, because it is true that the way that God created our bodies, for example, I have learned through my process, there's a lot of positive healing things you can do for your body by the way that you think. The number one thing that all my oncologists and doctors told me through the journey was the way you think, and because you were so positive, is going to help you tremendously in healing.
Mhm.
People need to remember that. You know, I'm not telling everybody you can think something like I'm going to be positive and the world is perfect, right? That is not true. But you think positive, not only is you're going to be better for your body, but it's also better for the whole process of your life. Because, you know, the alternative to being upbeat and positive is not so good, right?
Yeah.
We talk about the word grateful and being grateful in every moment. That doesn't mean you have to be grateful for every moment. That just means being grateful in every moment. And that's just learning the lessons of, you know, okay, this has happened, why, and how we can get better from it. And that's where the being grateful in every moment comes from.
Yeah. And I'm going to say one thing and then let you guys wrap up because I have to be the responsible host here. We've run out of time, but letting it go a few minutes over because you two are amazing.
Oh.
You know, I believe, I think it was Ed Milet or it might have been Tony Robbins that said, life happens for you, not to you.
Mhm.
And even though you might not be thankful and grateful for every moment is shaping you and molding you and helping you grow and become a better you, no matter what you think. And some are pretty lousy. Anybody watching me that says you're just full of it, well, I've thought that too, because there's times when you think, this is, what am I thinking? This is stupid, you know, because it's not good. But going through it and getting to the other side, just like the process we talked about, makes you and shows you that it can be done, that you can move on and things will get better. So, final time here, we want the two of you to give us your golden nuggets of the day. And then how do people get in touch with you?
Yeah. So my golden nugget for you guys is to really focus on yourself, forgive yourself, love yourself, and appreciate everything that you bring to the table. You are special. You made it. You were the 1 in a million sperm that made you who you are today, that turned in the egg and all that wonderful stuff in the process. You have won the lottery. You are here to do something amazing. Do it now. Do it today, even if it's a baby step. So that's my golden nugget for you guys to really take away. And you can find me on LinkedIn and Instagram under Julianne Lechuga. There's more to it, but you know, I think that Russ put it up there. So I'd love to
It magically appeared. It's just like you said it and poof, there it was. So awesome. All right, Shawn, go ahead.
I want to say for everyone, let's stop focusing on what we don't have and start with what we do have. And build from there. And also, don't be afraid to hire a coach for, you know, to have accountability for yourself. And it doesn't have to be us. It could be anyone. We're all over the place. And you know, this world we have 8 billion people in this world. There are plenty of coaches to go around. Don't be afraid to get one on your side and to help move you forward. You can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram as well. We also have our YouTube channel at the Wellness Shop. And then also anyone who goes to our website, thewellnessshop365.com, and takes our 365 wellness quiz, we will send you a copy of our free ebook as well. And then maybe we can spark up a conversation and see where you're at.
Beautiful.
Awesome. So good. Scott, go ahead.
I love that. Yeah, definitely. Again, we know what to do, but we don't do it.
Yes.
And we need someone to, you know, kick us in the rear end and get us going. So reach out, talk to Julianne and talk to Shawn, hire them.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Yeah. I couldn't agree more. And I just want to remind everybody watching, here's your little nugget from me for the day about a coach. So many people say, well, I already know you're supposed to be healthy. I already know you're supposed to do those things. I don't need a coach to tell me that. Well, do you think Michael Jordan said that, or Joe Montana or Magic Johnson? Did you say, I don't need a coach because I'm so good? No, because even though you may know a lot of things, you need somebody to help and guide you and direct you and encourage you and point you in the right direction on things. We all need that. So I encourage everybody to call them and to connect with them today. All their information clickable in the show notes and in the comments, so you can easily get to them, easily get to their website. And I just want to thank the two of you. Every time we talk, I'm thinking, I'm taking notes here. I got to remember to do
And
this
Shawn's
for
got one
me.
more thing to say. I'm looking at him.
Oh yeah, go for it, Shawn.
I wanted to say, full transparency here. We have coaches too. Like we're not, out of this. Like we have a business coach, we have a spirituality coach, we have, we go to other mentors for nutritional advice and things that we could share with our clients. We also have coaches. So don't think that, like Russ said, don't think that you don't.
Yeah, coaches need coaches.
Yeah,
Yep.
Exactly.
Doctors
Yeah.
need doctors.
big time.
So
Yeah.
think about that.
Yep.
When you're looking down the list, everybody needs somebody else to help them on their goals, their life, everything. Like it's a necessity. Like you were talking about athletes, you'd be amazed. All of them have a coach in one aspect or another, or maybe multiple coaches. That's how they got to where they are.
Absolutely.
That's
Make that investment in yourself. And, it's relatively small when you start thinking people will spend $10, $20, $30,000 a year investing in themselves for a college education, but they won't spend a few hundred a month on a coach. Give me a break.
Yeah. No, you're so right. I'd like to wind that conversation up with somebody that Scott and I both know, graduated from Oregon State University, Adley Rushman, and he ended up being the #1 draft pick in Major League Baseball. He's from Oregon. He was an incredible talent, but what he did is he worked hard with his coaches between his freshman year and sophomore year. Totally changed the way he hit. He did not know how to hit the ball. He learned how to do it better. That's what a coach helps you do, everybody. And look at the possibilities. He became better. He became the #1 draft pick in Major League Baseball. Maybe that's not your path, but you can become better and become incredible at whatever God has for you in your path. So thank you both. Appreciate you being here today. We're going to say goodbye to you, but hang tight in the green room. We'll be right with you. Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love that. I love, we talked about diet and some of these other things, but the emotional side, and, coming up at 9 a.m. on the Aging Better Network, this is what my wife talks about. Says no one prepares you for the emotions of getting older. And so this is one of those things that we need to focus on is, we'll read books and we'll take classes, go to workshops, do webinars on all these technical things, but missing that emotional component. I'm glad that she brought that up.
Well, I think that people jump right over that. And something that I coach on in my marketing coaching, as you know, Scott, I'm teaching people how to connect and build community. I'm teaching people how to do some of the foundational things that will make you a success. But what people do with that, and you know this, is they leap right over it and they take some technical information that they think is going to help them when they haven't done some basic things that will sustain them and help them in the long run. And I think with your health, oh my goodness, vital to all that you're doing. And I agree. Now, this Christine Smith person, you know her a little, I think. Everybody needs to tune in at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to her show, the Aging Better Network, and got some great information both on health and just tips, which we all need, because I've been there, done that with both my parents. And so I want to encourage you to do that today. Also, I was looking here. I wanted to remind you, independent-planner.com. Don't get confused on there. There's an independentplanner.com too. So
yeah, that's the financial services guy. So this one does help you track your goals and uses brain science, fire off that dopamine, gives you room for journaling. This is a 4-month undated planner, so you can start anytime.
There you go. And ticking below us has been our information, russhedge.com, dscottsmith.com, and the LinkedIn pages for both Shawn and Julianne. And I want to tell you that when you go to our website, Scott and I, there's so much value for you, not just about the live streaming, although I'm happy to coach and to produce for you, and Scott would help you as well. But the value is in all of the other things that we offer. And check out the books, because Scott's writing books constantly with some great content the books that I've had come out, it's not just me, amazing other authors. This last book, I know to my family, 21 incredible authors writing to their family. It'll make you stop and think. All different walks of life, all different belief systems, all different. It's very, very interesting because not everybody believes the same. And I find it very interesting to come together with people of different walks of life. And I
Very
think you
important.
should read that. So anyway, with that, Scott, anything you have before we go?
Well, I just say, Russ, I'm glad that your surgery went well, that you're recovering, and it's time for you to stop being someone's science experiment.
I'm with you there for sure, man. I am done with surgery, so I am ready to enjoy life for the season. Woo! I am ready. So, all right, everybody. Well, listen, until next Wednesday, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And don't forget before that, 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on on Instagram only. Then at 7, we're here on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Until then, I just want y'all to have a blessed and amazing life and enjoy
the experience.
Woohoo!
Thanks for tuning in to The Experience live with Russ and Scott. If you enjoyed today's show, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or subscribe on YouTube. See you next time.